Welcome back to the channel, and today we're talking Transformers, and this is a bit of a different video, a more off the cuff style video, where I sit down with you guys, no scripting, and simply talk to you about things that are important to me when it comes to Transformers. So I've been looking back recently over the Transformers live action universe, and also going back in time to the 1986 movie, and I was beginning to look at the history of Transformers, not the secret history of Transformers, because Michael Bay didn't exactly do a very good job of telling that, but just looking into the characters and how they were transferred over to the live action universe. And there is one Transformer which stands out to me, which has been terribly handled in the transition. And that Transformer played a pivotal part in the 1986 movie. That Transformer has a split divide when it comes to the fandom. Some love him, some hate him, because some blame him for the death of Optimus Prime in the 1986 movie. And that Transformer then rised up and became the unsung hero of the Autobots when Ultra Magnus could not. That Autobot is HotRod, aka Rodimus Prime. Now even when I say that, Rodimus Prime, a Prime, was able to take the matrix of leadership. When I say that, the importance is already there. It just shows, it just tells how important HotRod was going forward after the death of Optimus Prime. But would you really think that if you sat down and watched Transformers The Last Night? Would you really get that feeling of importance of HotRod in the live action universe? Because for me, it was a catalogue of errors to bring HotRod into that live action universe with no direction whatsoever. And that's why I believe that HotRod is the worst transformation from the G1 to the live action universe. Now I know some people will think I'm being a little bit harsh, because yes, I am saying he's the worst, and we have had many troublesome robots over the live action universe. Skids and Mudflap, you know, they were terribly controversial when it came to what Michael Bay was trying to portray them as. We've had other robots which have been throwaway robots, but none of them have had such an important role in previous. None of them have had such a status like HotRod does. HotRod was the future for the Autobots, and Michael Bay gave no indication whatsoever of how important he was to the Transformers in Transformers The Last Night. What do you actually take away from Transformers The Last Night when it comes to HotRod? I'll tell you what I take away from it. He's French. And he's French not by choice, but he can't get rid of it. He hates being French. He hates the accent. What is that all about? You know, when you're writing a Transformers film, is that what really springs to mind? Let's make him French, and let's make sure he hates his accent. I've never really understood over the years the fascination with the accents for Transformers. I don't think it's necessary. I understand what they're trying to go for, to give them individuality, but do that in telling their story, not by making it a bit of a joke, which HotRod for me became. So he's French. Is there anything else? Does anyone else have any input that they could give me in the comment section below, which makes me think anything further about HotRod's character? You know, yes, he went back and he was in wartime, and he's much like Bumblebee, very similar in ways, but you don't have any sort of connection to HotRod. Yes, his transformation was pretty cool. Yes, the Lamborghini does resemble, very briefly, maybe, scratching a little bit here, but briefly resembles what he looked like in G1. Didn't have the paint job. Why not? His head sculpt looks nothing like what HotRod used to look like back in G1. But then when you look at Optimus Prime, well, they did keep the characteristics because he's an iconic robot. So why not do the same with HotRod? Why not pay that homage? I simply didn't understand what they were going for with HotRod. And also, if you actually think about the dialogue that HotRod actually has in Transformers The Last Night, does he say anything significant, anything of meaning? Does he actually interact with Optimus? Because that relationship, that foundation, should have been being built in Transformers The Last Night, so you understood that HotRod isn't just another Autobot. He has a part to play in the future. And I don't think any of that was thought out when putting this character together. Now, I will give Michael Bay, the writers, and Paramount some credit. They did give HotRod an awesome weapon, his gun, which enabled him to stop time. I thought that was very cool. When he uses the weapon, it puts up a force field, a barrier around a Decepticon, and it stops time for that Decepticon, which then enables the Autobots to strike. I thought that was awesome to see in a live action movie and something we hadn't seen before. But when using that gun, did HotRod have to say, "I stop the time"? Go back and watch the movie. He says it every time, and it just seems so unnecessary and so pointless. A bit like the HotRod character. So I'm hugely disappointed when I think back to HotRod in the live action universe. And I'm hoping if we get a reboot off the back of Bumblebee, they can do this character justice, because he is important. Whether or not you love him or you hate him, it doesn't really matter. He played an important role in G1, in the history of Transformers, and that should be honoured when he's taken forward in his transformation to the live action universe. And if you think Optimus Prime never had all the key characteristics which he had from G1 in the live action universe, but he did have some to tie the two together. I feel at times he lacked compassion. He was a much more vengeful version of Prime in the live action universe, and sometimes was completely ruthless in combat, whereas Prime in G1 was much more calm and thoughtful in his process. So with that being the case, when you think of HotRod, no connection whatsoever. Nothing at all. Not in voice, not in look, or in personality. None of it is there for HotRod. So I want to get your views and opinions on this in the comment section below. The reason why I thought of this is because Bumblebee is a few more months away, and of course Bumblebee is going to be a very different Transformers film because Travis Knight does want to focus on character development. And one thing I will say is anyone who picks up a Transformers film in terms of directing or having an input in the script needs to do their homework going forward, because take note with HotRod and how poorly that was done. We don't want that to happen again. Respect the names which you take forward from G1 to use in a live action film. That must happen when it comes to Transformers. So get involved in the comment section. Let me know what you think of Michael Bay's version of HotRod. Were you happy with it? I feel it was a massive letdown, and that's why I think it was the worst transformation from G1 to the live action universe when it comes to a Transformer. HotRod was the worst. So I want to get your views on that. And one thing before I go, I have to hold my hands up and apologise for my mistake yesterday. The video has already been taken down. The change which I said about the UK release date was wrong. In fact, it's the other way around. The UK release date is being changed from the 26th of December to the 21st. So that's good news for fans here in the UK. Good news for me. I misread it. I apologise. I didn't even know that the release date was the 26th. I thought we were going the same day as everyone else, the 21st, but we are now. So I hold my hands up and apologise for that. And if you do like this style of video, which you've heard today, much more, calm, we sit down, we talk about things, please do hit that like button. And also, if you've got any topics you want me to talk about, let me know in the comments section below. This is Delzinski. Thanks again. Signing out.